Welcome to Behind the Business, the place where we go beyond all the polished moments, luxury branding, and social media highlights to talk about what really happens behind building a business. I'm your host, Tiffany Hope, and twice a week I'm going to be right here talking about business, beauty, branding, but most importantly, the balance. We're also going to be getting into entrepreneurship, leadership, marketing, business growth, and the real life experiences that it takes to build something from the ground up. This is your exclusive look inside what it takes building a brand. We're dropping episodes every Tuesday and Thursday on YouTube, so remember to like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications so that you never miss an episode. You can find us on Instagram at Behind the Business Talks. And remember, share this episode with somebody who's building their dream too, because we're all in this together. Now, let's get into today's episode of Behind the Business. Girl, we are back with a brand new episode, girl. And don't worry about why I got the same outfit on. Don't worry about that, okay? Fresh content coming live to you, girl. And guess what we talking about? Pageants. I should have put on a crown, I feel like. But I have so many that it would just be too much for this one scene. But okay, girl, got a couple crowns. But on a serious note, let's talk about pageantry and how it shaped my business acumen. I started pageants in my early 20s, and it really taught me so many things about life. So I'm excited to share with you all what that means. Now, I'm not saying you need to run out and go do a pageant today, right? But what I'm saying is if you have a daughter or a young sibling, definitely get them into pageantry because they are going to develop all of these soft skills just based on being in the competition. So let's start with what pageantry is and what pageantry is not, okay? Let's get them together. So for the people who don't know, pageantry is not just about beauty. It's not about women who know nothing. It's not just about being fun and glitz and glam. Pageantry is a real life competition with some of the smartest women you would ever meet, and they all have it coming down to the very moment of receiving the win, which is the crown after pageant weekend, right? So pageants take a lot out of you. You start maybe like a year before your actual pageant. If you're starting less than a year, we'll give you some time, right? You probably need to holler at Sierra at Crownbound Pageant Consulting if you're coming up on your pageant, because it's like building a body, right? If you go to the gym and you need to be in shape by next week, girl, you're not about to get in shape. Listen to the bulb. You're not about to get in shape after a week, okay? You need to be putting your effort into it. And that is one of the things with delayed gratification that I learned in business through pageantry. Having a deadline on outcome in the future, but working on those things now and knowing that I'm going to build on it to see my final result at some point. The cool thing about pageantry is there's an end date. There's a date that I know I'm going to show up on stage. I know this is what's going to be happening. With real life, that's not a thing. With real life, you might say, I want to do this by September. I want to do this by Q4, but it just depends on what your business acumen is. And that's, again, something that I learned through pageantry. Let's also talk about what pageantry is, and that's going to be highly, highly competitive. This is like one job, like a needle in a haystack, okay? And all the haystack that showed up on stage, girl, and you the needle about to get your crown. And they trying to run up on you, you know what I mean? So you have to be so zoomed in to what you have going on, you straight tunnel vision. That is one of the biggest things I took from pageantry. I don't care what the second contestant is doing over there, girl. I do not care. You know what I'm doing? I'm bobbing and weaving on stage, okay? This is what I prepared for, right? So it's also about showing up and being professional, even though others are not. So, girl, no shade to the pageant community because y'all know how we get down, but they be letting anybody in there. I'm going to just say it. They be letting anybody in there. And so when you letting anybody get on the stage, just because they got a coin or they got the criteria, girl, it's like, hello, all right? I remember one girl told me, I already won this pageant. You all are just here for props. Ooh, no, she didn't. Girl, when she said it, and she knows she is too. I hope she see this. When she said that backstage, I was like, ah! But I ain't going to hold you. I was in the notes like this. Like, she ate that. And guess what? She won. She won the pageant. It was the most ridiculous, asinine, deluded belief I've ever seen displayed on a woman, and she won. That is the exact thing that you learn from pageantry, to go hard at your dreams and to know I'm still going to be tunnel vision whether these people show up and do what they have to or not. And then the last point is the smarts, the intelligence. Now, I know people want to go on the YouTubes and they want to see the girl stumbling and fumbling over the words, and this girl don't know how to point out Africa on a map. I got you. I feel you, all right? But let's talk about the women who are the most accomplished people that you would ever want to meet. We have doctors. We have women who are attorneys. We have women who have been to space, girl. Space Barbie was on them. I was like, what? If you don't know your history, go look up in Olivia Copel, okay? Like, go highlight my girl Pia Wershback, because they're going to give you the tea about what they did to get to where they are, right? So I think about pageantry as something that really set me up for the woman that I am today. And especially when it comes down, like I said, to competition and to discipline. Whether I want to get up and run my business in the morning or not, I got to do it. I got to do it. I got to get up. Same thing with pageantry. Whether I want to go to the gym or not, for every day I miss the gym for swimsuit competition. For every day I miss an interview for interview competition. For every day I miss anything, there's another woman who showed up. And not because she's better than me, and not because she's smarter than me, but she just showed up. Pageantry is about showing up consistently, no matter how we feel, no matter how we thought about it, no matter what's going on, no matter what the tea is, girl, showing up and doing your thing. Main thing that I learned from pageantry, I hold that very dear to my heart, because some days I don't feel like it. Girl, some days I don't feel like it. But pageantry really helped me, get that together. And then the last thing, girl, them emotions. Ooh, girl, losing ain't no joke. Losing ain't no joke. Losing ain't no joke, okay? Losing in pageantry, in an auditorium full of people, embarrassing. Losing in life, though, yike on a bike. that's a next level losing that you got to look yourself in the mirror. Like, you don't even have no audience that is like, all right, is it going to be a pageant tomorrow? They going to forget. Girl, that mirror going to remember. You going to get in that mirror the next day? And that mirror going to be like, girl, you going to be like, girl, what? That mirror going to tell you, you lost. So that, I'm just saying, taking that L is insane. So it's about showing up and being your best self. And then committing to the loss. What do I mean by that? When you sign up to win, you also sign up to lose. Let's call it what it is. For every time I step on a pageant stage, for every time I step in a business office or a boardroom, I am dedicated to winning, but I'm also accepting that I might not. When you accept this and you know there's going to be failures, there's going to be times you don't win, you don't allow that to impede your journey. I got first runner-up, girl, 3 different times at 3 different Miss Maryland pageants. I'm still salty, but we're going to get into that story time in a little bit. Don't you worry. So going time and time again and being told time and time again that I wasn't good enough, that I didn't win, that I didn't have the things that were necessary to take the crown. My skin is so thick now in business. If somebody said, oh my goodness, no, this opportunity is not for you. Okay. Girl, I got first runner-up at all these Miss Maryland pageants. Who do you think you're talking to? My skin is so thick, girl, I couldn't get an IV in here if I wanted to, right? So it's like, when it comes down to you showing up and still putting in your effort, I went back year after year after year of failing. But you know what I got out of it? I got some of the best friends of my life. I learned how to be a proper businesswoman. I learned how to show up and be ready to lose, so inevitably I still win. I learned how to be Tiffany in those moments. And I could not get that experience from anywhere except through pageantry. Okay. Girl, brace yourself. You got your braces on? Okay. This is a hard truth, but let me just tell you this. The way that people do one thing is the way that people do everything, okay? The way that you run your personal life, that will be the way that you run your business. If your personal finances are a mess, oh girl, them business finances is crazy. I can tell you that. If your office space is a mess, girl, that bedroom is crazy. I already know. I don't even need to see where you live. I just need to see where you work. That's all. Once I come into your office and I see it's organized, oh, you have an organized home. You pay your bills on time in your personal life, and you pay your bills on time in your business. If you've fallen behind on this and that and taking too many projects on at a full-time job or a side hustle, girl, I already know that business is crazy. And I'm telling you this from personal experience. The way people do one thing is the way that they do everything. And now that we know that, we can use that information to apply it to being better business people. And what that means is, if I know I have to file taxes for my business, I probably need to file my personal taxes too, right? If I know I need an accountant for my business, probably need to sit down and go through my finances too, right? If I know that I need to be professional for my business, there's other ways to show professionalism in your personal life. So making sure that we understand there is a difference between that personal life and business life, but you're still the same person. I'm still the same Tiffany in my personal fun girl life that I am in my business life. I am still accountable to my friends as I am to my staff. And that's because I am who I am, regardless of any situation or room that I'm being put in. And I had to understand that. Why do I go into these business situations and I'm so stern and I'm so rigid? And then my mama told me, she was like, girl, you stern and rigid in real life. And I was like, who? Not this Bob. So when she told me that, I was like, all right, let me just take a second back to really understand what my mom is saying. What she's saying is that in my real life, I could loosen my grip a little bit, right? I could just take a moment to be understanding, to be caring, and that really helped me business-wise. The same woman that I needed to be in pageantry, the same woman that I needed to show up as being soft, being understanding, being slow to overtalk people, but quick to understand. That woman that I needed to be in pageantry is the exact woman that I desire to be in life. And when you get to that level and you understand pageantry, you understand life, you really get to thrive. And like I always say, if somebody hasn't seen the soft side of you, it's because you haven't seen the safe side of them, right? You need to be in environments where you are safe enough to let your guard down, to understand that I'm okay in this situation, even though it may be uncomfortable. Girl, I was on stage with the two-piece swimsuit on, and I got tattoos, even though my mama told me not to, indeed. And so I had to cover up my tattoos on stage for the pageant. I was so self-conscious about the tattoos on stage. But now technology and makeup is so popping, girl. When I saw the video, I said, oh, she's giving seamless, okay? Y'all not ready for me. And guess what? One swimsuit competition and did, right? So being able to pivot, utilizing my resources, those are all the things I learned in pageantry that I extrapolate to be a great businesswoman. And lastly, let's get into some key points that you can take away. Get your notepad out. I'm going to give you a second. All right. Firstly, organization. Girl, if you're not organized in that pageant, get to the back. Get to the back. If you're not organized, I'm telling you, the girlies got binders nowadays. Y'all didn't know that? The girlies got binders, okay? They got a little 3-hook notebook. When I started, I was like, what she got? Who is that? Is she the administrator? They was like, no, girl, she competing. I said, well, who? Girl, she had a binder. She had a whole binder. I said, oh, baby, we ain't had no binders back in the day. But she was organized, okay? The next thing, like I said before, delayed gratification. You are working for months before you even step foot on that stage with all these women who are equally working. Your crown will come at its proper time. And that was not just about a crown. The third thing is financial responsibility. Let me tell you something. Pageants are not free. Ooh, they not. Whether you have a sponsorship, whether your auntie's paying for it, girl, it's not free. Okay, you have deadlines and all that. So you got to get the coin together. And like I said, the way you do one thing, that's the way you're going to do everything. So if your personal finances aren't together, girl, I know you're missing them deadlines on that deposit. I know you, because I know a couple of y'all directors and they had told me that. So let's get our finances together. And lastly, our emotional competence. Like I said, when you sign up to win, you're also signing up to lose. And that's not a bad thing. That's just accepting all the outcomes, because when you're willing to get into the ring, that's what matters at the end of the day, win or lose. Girl, okay, so now we back to the first note card. So that's it. So thank you so much for tuning into Behind the Business Grab. Thank you so much. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with somebody, especially women who are in pageantry or women who are thinking about pageantry, because all of these things have made me the woman that I am today. Thank you for watching. Pageant girlies, go pageant, go girlies, go pageant. This part is for all my pageant girlies. I'm so glad we get to key girl in our own little safe space, okay? This is a safe space for all the girlies, but we got to talk about something for real. We got to talk about business acumen and pageantry. Do y'all remember when Steve Harvey crowned the wrong queen? I remember watching in real time. I was in my mom's bedroom, and it was Venezuela and the Philippines, and this is when Pia Wurschbach became the winner. He announced her as the first runner-up. I still think that he didn't botch that. He works too hard to protect his brand and his name, and you're telling me that he read the wrong thing? No, granted. In my first pageant, where I got first runner-up, girl, my dad thought I won. My dad thought I won. I was competing against Jordan Goddard. Shout out to Jordan. And she won, and I got first runner-up. And when they said first runner-up is Tiffany Hope, my dad thought like first runner-up means obviously my daughter won, so he starts cheering. He's like, yes, my daughter won. And my mom was like, nah, first runner-up means she lost. And so I can see the difference between you hearing first runner-up. I can see the confusion. You hear first runner-up and you think first place, when really that's just the first to lose. Think about it that way. So I don't know what Steve Harvey thought, y'all, but he crowned the wrong girl. We all know that. back at that time when Pia Wurschbach was competing, it was the peak of pageantry. She had on that beautiful blue gown. It was after Nia Sanchez wore that Michael Costello, and I wore a very similar gown to that when I competed, and I was embodying Nia and all the women who came before me, the Cara McCulloughs and the Olivia Copels and the Sierra Nicoles, all these women who had come before me in pageantry. I realized that they all knew something that I was yet to learn. And I learned about the delayed gratification. I learned about the discipline. I learned about the financial literacy, about showing up even when others are not showing up. I learned so many things in that time. And the way I got started in pageantry was through my girlfriend, Sierra Nicole. You guys can find her on Instagram at Crownbound Pageant Consulting, because if you need a little consulting, girl, she'll give you a lot of it. Okay, so hit her up. But Sierra hit me up one day and was like, hey, girl, you should do this. I was 21 and green and not knowing left from right, but it came very naturally to me. And I remember I get up on the mic and you had to introduce yourself. And this is also when I competed with Candace Dillard, who's now Candace Dillard Bassett, formerly of Real Housewives of Potomac. She won the pageant overall, but when I first met her, she was so quiet. Candace just was looking at everybody in the room. She was very to herself. And I remember being there, being my loud, bubbly Tiffany. And I come in and I'm like, hey, y'all, hey. Then each of us had to go up on the mic and introduce ourselves. Girl, I get up there on the mic and I was like, Tiffany Hope, 23, Baltimore, Maryland. You had to say your name and your age and where you're from. And that's how I said mine. And then Candace comes up. Candace Dillard, 24, District of Columbia. And I was like, oh, that's how we're supposed to do that. Okay, got it. Immediate learning right away. I was soaking it up like a sponge. I'm like, bet, put me on the mic, girl. Got up on that mic. Tiffany Hope, 23, Baltimore, Maryland. Girl, I've never been so proud to be from Baltimore in my life, okay? I got up on that mic. I said, this is Miss Baltimore, okay? So I learned right then and there about how you introduce yourself in a room. This woman, Candace, who was quiet, who was sitting to herself, who wasn't really doing too much, she got up there and dominated and won. And not only did she win Miss DC United States at the time, she won Miss United States, which is out of all the states in the United States. So she won everything, won the national pageant. And I knew from that very moment that she introduced herself that she was going to win. And I took that home and I played back her videos and I studied it. And I had this big binder of 3,000 questions for OSQ, on stage question. So when you finally make it to your top 5, and the top 5 is, right, you get into your top 5, then they reset your scores down to 0, and then they ask you a question, which is your on stage question, random question that you wouldn't know, and you have 30 seconds to answer it. I compiled 3,000 questions. Again, this is for before ChatGPT. So I just went through all the audio, all the video that I had of pageants, and I collected every OSQ that I could find, built this huge binder, and I studied it. I studied it like front and back, side to side, doggy style. Probably don't add that in there. But I studied it all through and through, okay? And I'm flipping through. And so my next pageant was Miss National Harbor. And I was competing with women who I knew. Sierra was Miss Maryland, United States at the time. She was going to be the person crowning people, crowning the winners. And my question was, what is my plan to bridge the wage gap between men and women? Firstly, not to burst your bubble, but girl, if y'all think I'm about to bridge a wage gap between men and women, like, be for real about that question. That's the first part. But secondly, I knew it was question number 187 from the book. What's up? So I already had my points going. I had my first, second, and third point. I had an open, I had an ending. Boom. And that's what I'm going to do as your next Miss National Harbor to bridge the wage gap, girl. I know nothing about no wage gap, but I knew I was going to bridge it, okay? So I get on stage, I say what I needed to say, smooth turnaround like this, boom, gave a shoulder. Sierra was in the back. She had to be unbiased because I was just, even though I was her friend, I was competing with everybody else. So I turned around, boom, gave a shoulder. Sierra was like, boom, gave another shoulder, and I know I got this, okay? Came down to the crowning moment, and Morgan got first runner up. Hey, Morgan, got first runner up, so we holding hands at the front, okay? And they're like, and the winner is, if I wasn't the winner, we was going to storm the Capitol. I'm going to tell you that, baby. We about to storm this. So they was like, and the winner is Tiffany Hope, baby. Ooh, girl. I think back to that moment. And my eyebrows were so thick because I did it myself that day. And the nails was so pressed on because I also did it myself that day. This is 2014. I remember the experience and the chills that went up the back of my gown, girl, because I had did it. I studied. I was disciplined. I was gritty. I was a hustler. I did everything that needed to be done, and I won the crown. And that exact moment is replicated in life when we get a great deal. When I get the hair to the Patriots at a specific time. When I hit the mark right at the buzzer. I feel myself back in that gown from the mall, girl, okay? Back in, why would I have on gloves too? I don't know, but I had them on. Back when my earrings and my necklace came in a little pack from the beauty supply. Girl, had them boom, 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 okay? Back at that time, that young Tiffany, I think about her. And I think about the hard work that she put in because she wanted something. That is the same woman that I am today. And pageantry has shaped me in so many inconceivable ways that I think back to that very moment. And having my girlfriend come and crown me reminds me of all the women who came before me. All the women who are giving me a crown now as a Black woman in business. I want to say thank you. To all the women who came before me, to Sierra, to Candace, to all the women who showed me pageantry is not just about being beautiful, right? I got the looks just in case, okay? It's not just about being beautiful, though. It's about being smart. It's about having discipline, and it is about your overall confidence. And those are the very traits that you need to be successful, not just in pageantry, but also in business. Ladies, thank you so much for tuning in. That's what I have for you today. Hopefully you had your notepad out. Rewind this video if you need to, girl. Get a little Make sure you share it on Instagram because we will be sure to repost you. You can find us on Instagram at Behind the Business Talks. Again, I'm your host, Tiffany Hope. I'm going to be right here every Tuesday and Thursday talking about business, beauty, and most importantly, the balance. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so that you never miss an episode. Also, you can share this with somebody who's building their dream too, because we're all in this together. Until next time, I'll see you on Behind the Business.